Although it hasn't seen a makeover in 4 years and some change, Apple has assured us that a new Mac Pro is still in the works. More specifically, Apple plans to deliver a completely redesigned, next-generation Mac Pro featuring a high-performance, high-throughput system in a modular upgradeable design, in addition to putting out a new high-end professional-grade monitor. In the meantime, however, there is no shortage of options when it comes to Macs designed for power users. The iMac Pro, for instance, came out as recently as December 2017 and features Intel Xeon processors, AMD Radeon Pro Vega graphics and up to 128GB of RAM. The Mac Pro is discreet enough to sit on your desktop, not under it. Unfortunately, the iMac Pro does come at a much higher price point than the existing, screenless Mac Pro that we've reviewed here, which can currently be had for $2,999, £2,999, around $3,816 to start. At just 9.9 inches tall and just over 6.5 inches in diameter, this version of the Mac Pro is an eighth the size of the previous generation Mac Pro, and only a little over a quarter of the weight. But its smaller size doesn't equal pint-size performance either. It features Intel Xeon E5 processors, quad-core is 6-core off-the-shelf. 8-core and 12-core processors are available as custom options if you buy from the Apple online store, but there's no option for 2 processors. At the same time, its 2 AMD FirePro GPUs deliver up to 8 times the graphical performance of the previous generation Mac Pros, though to be fair, when the 2012 Mac Pro went off sale in 2013 due to an amended EU safety regulation, the graphics card it offered was already well out of date. Unsurprisingly, given its compact size and the way Macs have developed over the last few years, storage is solid state. Equally unsurprisingly, there's no optical drive. If you still use CDs and DVDs, you'll have to invest in a USB SuperDrive, a similar external disk drive. Specification at the heart of the new Mac Pro is the thermal core, a unified heatsink around which the processor board and 2 graphics processor boards are attached. Where the previous Mac Pro had 8 separate fans, the most recent Mac Pro only has 1. It draws air through the base and out through the top of the casing, over the heatsink that stretches from the top of the Mac Pro to the bottom. Naturally, this means it runs very quietly. The 2013 Mac Pro is designed to be used on top of your desk, not underneath it, and its quiet running, attractive casing and minimal footprint means it's welcome to do just that. A single fan ensures almost silent running. Apple is known for its delightful design features, and the new Mac Pro is no exception. Turn the Mac Pro to get at the expansion ports around the back, as far as a cylindrical casing can be said to have a back, and they all light up. Even if the Mac Pro isn't currently powered up, the ports are lit so you can plug in or disconnect peripherals. Leave it still for a few seconds, and the light fades to off again. Neat. Most of the Mac Pro's main expansion options are geared around external peripherals, so it has an excellent range of data ports. There are 4 high-speed USB 3.0 ports, and 6 Thunderbolt ports. These are based on the Thunderbolt 2 protocol, which combines the 2 10GbS channels offered by first-generation Thunderbolt into one 20GbS bidirectional channel, making it ideal for large amounts of data, such as 4K video. As up to 6 Thunderbolt peripherals can be daisy-chained to each port, the Mac Pro can support up to 36 Thunderbolt devices at once. You can, of course, use mini DisplayPort monitors in a Thunderbolt port, and with adapters sold separately, you can also connect your old FireWire peripherals. There's also a HDMI port and 2 gigabit Ethernet sockets, but don't expect an SD card reader. For wireless connectivity, there's 802.11 AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.0. EVERY system ships with dual GPUs. Off the shelf, these are dual AMD FirePro D300 or D500 cards, but you can custom configure them up to D700 GPUs with 6GB of GDDR5 RAM on the Apple online store. Likewise, the processor, the Xeon E5, starts at a quad-core 3.7 GHz, but it can be upgraded as high as a 12-core 2.7 GHz chip. Memory is industry standard, so can be user upgraded. Up to 64 GB can be installed. The Mac Pro that we reviewed back in 2014 has a 3 GHz, 8-core Xeon E5 coupled with a pair of AMD FirePro D700 GPUs, 64 GB of RAM and 1 TB of PCIe-based flash storage. The two Mac Pro models you can buy right now will set you back $2,999 per £2,499 per $3,999 and $3,999 per £3,299 per AUD $5,299, respectively from Apple. Still, our review unit was a custom build, thereby ramping the price up to $8,099 per £6,579 per $10,229. Either way, you can find a Mac Pro from second-hand retailers for significantly cheaper. The lowest price we've seen is $1,999 in the US by a considerable margin. Granted, if you search hard enough, you're bound to find something cheaper. 4 USB and 6 Thunderbolt ports provide plenty of connectivity. Gabe Carey has also contributed to this review. First reviewed January 2014. Page 2 Geekbench 3 single-core, 3656 Geekbench 3 multi-core, 25490 handbrake, 15 minutes 60 secs boot time, 18 secs Geekbench R10 single-core, 5895 Cinebench R10 multi-core, 34141 Cinebench R15 open goal, 88.37 Bench R15 CPU, 1180 Spoonagene Heaven 4.0, FPS, 27.6 Unigene Heaven 4.0, score, 695 Arkham City, 1080 to 79 FPS Arkham City, native 4K, 48 FPS Blackmagic Read, 869.6 Blackmagic Write, 951.7 Nova Bench, score, 2342 Nova Bench, RAM, 311 Nova Bench, CPU, 1418 Nova Bench, graphics, 545 Nova Bench, hardware, 68 as you'd expect from a high-end Mac Pro, especially a custom enhanced model such as the one on review here. Performance is excellent. The new 2013 Mac Pro can drive up to 3 4K monitors at once. That's 3 screens, each with a pixel resolution of 3840 by 2160, 4 times that of high-definition 1080 screens. Software that's optimized to take advantage of the 2 graphics cards really flies. Its fast flash storage is ideal for video editors too. The latest release of Apple's own Final Cut Pro X is designed to take advantage of the power offered by the new Mac Pro. Using its multi-cam feature, on the new Mac Pro you can view 9 feeds of 4K video at once, with no stuttering or lag. The previous generation of Mac Pro could manage 4. Video editors who work in Ultra HD will experience a hands-on immediacy that simply wasn't possible before. According to ACU Apple, the new Mac Pro redefines what it means to be expandable. Whereas the last generation could be expanded by opening the casing and fitting new hard drives, replacing the graphics card, or adding new PCI Express cards, the new Mac Pro's expansion options are largely focused on its 4 USB 3.0 ports and 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports on 3 Thunderbolt controllers. This is the first time more than a single controller has been used on a Mac. There's some seriously impressive engineering under the hood. That is not to say the new Mac Pro's internal components can't be upgraded. The flick of a switch, the cylindrical cover can be removed, exposing the graphics and processor boards within. The solid-state drive can be removed and slotted into a different Mac Pro. If you have a Mac Pro at home and another at work, you can use the same SSD in both, effectively carrying your computer in your pocket with minimal disassembly. As welcome as this is, some might bemoan the lack of opportunities for internal expansion. Although the Thunderbolt 2 port has enough bandwidth to make performance a non-issue in this respect, adding, for example, extra storage on a new Mac Pro demands an external drive, with its own power supply and desk space. The tower models that preceded it offered 4 internal bays, where you could slot relatively cheap bare drives, with no clutter and no extra power supply needed. Because Apple wisely made the new Mac Pro's graphics cards and SSDs removable, it's theoretically possible to upgrade these internal components by replacing the ones supplied. But at the time of writing there's nothing on the market to replace them with. It's possible third-party manufacturers will release Mac Pro-specific components in the future, but as it wouldn't be possible to use them in anything other than a Mac Pro, they might be reluctant to make the investment. RAM is industry standard, and can be added or replaced by the end user. Like the Core series chips, the Xeon E5 processor used here offers hyper-threading and turbo boost features. Hyper-threading means each of its 8 cores can run 2 threads simultaneously, for 16 virtual cores, and at times of high processing needs, Turbo Boost takes the clock speed from 3 GHz to up to 3.9 GHz. The new technologies certainly proved their worth in our benchmarking tests, as you can see from the results above, but it's worth noting that 3 of our 4 graphics test, the Batman, Arkham City, frame rate test, the Cinebench tests and the Unigine Heaven test, can at present only use one of the 2 graphics processors. No doubt they, and third-party Mac applications built for the pro user, will be optimized to get the most out of the new machine soon. In the Nova bench test, which does use both GPUs, the new Mac Pro was over 56% up on an iMac custom configured with an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 780M, the top-of-the-range graphics option in a Mac other than the Mac Pro. Page 3. According to ASU Apple, the new Mac Pro redefines what is meant by expandability. This is achieved by using 3 Thunderbolt controllers, 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports and 4 USB 3.0 ports. The new Mac Pro is expanded by adding external peripherals rather than internal components, though the graphics cards, solid-state storage and memory sticks are user-replaceable. The new Mac Pro takes Apple's design flair to a new level. The new Mac Pro is around an eighth of the size of the previous generation by volume and a quarter of the weight. Because its components are built around a single thermal core, only one fan is needed. Therefore it's quiet enough to use on top of your desk instead of under it. Its small footprint and great looks mean it's very welcome as a desktop computer too. We liked the late 2013 Mac Pro is gorgeous to look at, but it's what's under the lid that really matters. With twin enterprise-class graphics processors, a super-fast solid-state drive that gives excellent read and write speeds and a powerful Xeon E5 processor, the new Mac Pro is the most powerful Mac Apple has ever built. The one reviewed here wasn't quite the top of the range. It had an 8-core CPU, not the 12-core chip, but it certainly impressed in our performance tests. Running Batman, Arkham City at 48 frames per second in Ultra HD quality is no mean feat, and imagine how quickly games will run when they're optimized to use both graphics processors. If you're a high-needs user, the new Mac Pro is exactly what you need. We disliked not everyone will welcome the switch to the new, smaller form factor. Where the previous generation of Mac Pro let you slot new hard drives into its 4 bays, or replace the graphics card with an industry-standard PCI Express card with only the firmware distinguishing it from the PC version, expanding the new Mac Pro is largely achieved with external devices. This isn't ideal, as they need separate power supplies and take up room. Also, we can't understand why the new Mac Pro is sold with no input devices. With its sleek black looks, it's crying out for special edition black versions of the Apple USB-A wireless keyboard, Magic Mouse and Magic Trackpad. Final verdict: not everyone needs the power and performance offered by the new Mac Pro, and not everyone can afford it. But wouldn't you just love one? It's a masterpiece of engineering. Fresh ideas such as the unified thermal core and backlit expansion ports, and high-performance components like the Thunderbolt 2 ports, Xeon E5 processors and FirePro graphics cards, combine to make the late 2013 Mac Pro the ultimate high-end Mac. Current page. Conclusion. Previous page. Performance.